Good evening, I'm Ian Hanomansing. Tonight, a post-holiday surge in COVID-19 cases, and now another setback.
Pfizer is temporarily reducing deliveries to all countries. That includes Canada.
The supply to be cut in half. What it means for those supposed to be getting the shot right now. Plus, the newest variant of the virus.
The virus has been energized by the ability to evolve and become better and fitter and better adapted to infecting us.
What you need to know and the plan to keep it out of Canada.
Nobody's allowed to spit, and you know, hockey players, we're all guilty of it.
Why COVID-19 loves your local hockey rink. And the earworm from the high seas.
Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum.
The viral siren song of the sea shanty. This is The National. On the day the COVID-19 pandemic took its 2 millionth life worldwide, federal officials in this country had a blunt message for exhausted Canadians. The arrival of vaccines does not mean a reduced COVID threat. In fact, in the short term, there's even more to worry about. According to new modeling data, in the next 10 days alone, as many as 100,000 people could contract the virus. About 2,000 are expected to die. And now, as David Cochrane explains, there's a vaccine delivery delay.
A country desperate to speed up its vaccinations is being forced to slow down.
Pfizer has confirmed that Canada's deliveries will be impacted for the next 4 weeks. We will see an average reduction over this time frame of 50% of expected deliveries.
Those temporary reductions, the result of work to expand production at this Pfizer plant in Belgium. Long term, it means a boost in global supply. Short term, it means Canada and the European Union will get shipments that are hundreds of thousands of doses light.
It is going to be temporary. It's not a loss, and we will make up those doses.
I understand the disappointment today. I share the disappointment.
Pfizer deliveries are slowing down as the rate of infection is speeding up, moving further and faster across the country, seemingly fueled by holiday gatherings.
Many provinces, including those that had been on a downward trajectory, like BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, saw a sharp rise in daily case numbers after the holidays.
That increased community spread poses a direct threat to those most vulnerable Canadians, already in line to get these now delayed vaccines. In the first wave, COVID reaped a path of sorrow through long-term care homes. The outbreaks in the second wave now exceed the first.
There have been an increased number of outbreaks in long-term care facilities, ranging in size from a few cases to over 100. This is a difficult cycle of spread.
The interruption of the vaccine supply is a clear setback, but it should be temporary. When the Belgium plant is back online, Canada should get back on track.
I want to be very clear. This does not impact our goal to have enough vaccines available by September for every Canadian who wants one.
And David, what does this mean for the goal of vaccinating 3 million Canadians by the end of March?
Yeah, the government still thinks they can hit that target, Ian, but this obviously slows it down. The expectation is that they'll still get all 4 million doses from Pfizer by the end of March, but this means that delivery schedule is now going to have to be much more heavily backloaded.
And Pfizer has a facility in the United States, and so why can't we get doses from there?
Yeah, so Canada's contract with Pfizer is to get its doses from the European facility, and at first that seemed like a really smart idea because it got you around Donald Trump and all of the uncertainty of what he might do if you tried to take vaccines out of his country. But now you find yourself in a situation where the European production is down, you have no access to the U.S. doses because they're all already spoken for, and there's no extra doses to be had. And it doesn't, at this point, Ian, look like there's any extra Moderna doses available on the market, so it all just means Canada is going to have to wait.
David Cochrane, thank you.
You're welcome.
We've set up a vaccine tracker on our website. You can see the number of doses delivered to each province and how many have been administered to Canadians. That's at cbc.ca/vaccines. There's growing concern about variants of the virus. One, first detected in the UK, is responsible for at least 23 cases in Canada. Another, seen in South Africa, has been detected in 2 cases here so far. And now Christine Burak explains officials are watching for a third variant spreading fast in Brazil.
A new variant of this virus is emerging in Brazil as COVID-19 patients there are already dying of suffocation. It's not a game, she says. Where is the oxygen for the hospitals?
There's pressure on this virus to change. The more it circulates, the more opportunities it has to change.
The World Health Organization held an emergency meeting saying countries are now in a race with a virus that continues to mutate.
The virus has been energized by the ability to evolve and become better and fitter and better adapted to infecting us.
3 variants, first identified in the UK, South Africa, and Brazil, are now stalking the globe. In the UK, scientists identified mutations in the spike protein that appear to have made it more contagious. Variants first seen in South Africa and Brazil also involve tiny mutations on that spike, changes that could make it harder for your antibodies to recognize the virus and destroy it, even if you've been infected before.
We don't have, I think, sufficient data yet to say unequivocally these are variants that are able to get around our immune system, but they may be able to modify or lessen the response for our immune system.
A possible case of reinfection has been identified in Brazil. Britain's already restricting flights from South America. Canada is considering it.
Our measures have been very strong, but we're always open to strengthening them as necessary.
So far, Canadian labs have identified fewer than 30 variant cases, but some aren't linked to travel, and scientists are concerned.
I fear that what we see, right now is just the tip of the iceberg.
The advice from Canada's health minister?
Please keep asking yourself, do I absolutely need to go out today? Can I reduce the number of times that I am going out?
She adds public health measures can still defeat these new variants, but they have to be followed. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, the COVID-19 variant is one of the things I want to talk to Dr. Zane Chagla about, an infectious disease physician. And Dr. Chagla, how concerned are you about this variant that we've seen in Brazil?
Yeah, I mean, as we're describing genetic mutations going across the world, this Brazilian variant has some of the components of what we saw in the UK with the increased transmissibility component, but it also has this other mutation where it bends the spike protein a little bit, which may lead to less antibody binding, which may lead to a lowered immune response or a lowered vaccine response. Now, it's not going to be zero, but it may not be as optimal as some of the other wild type variants we see out there. So, there is concern. It does need to be mapped. And I think as the vaccine process moves forward, we need to see if this is occurring in people that have been vaccinated.
And quick question I want to touch on, there's been some talk, particularly out here in British Columbia, of should there be a travel ban against interprovincial travel from an infectious disease standpoint. What's your view on that?
I mean, all of Canada is in areas of high epidemiology and low epidemiology. That mixing between different epidemiologies can lead to outbreaks, particularly as places are so fragile. And so, the encouragement is to people to stay home as much as possible. Minimizing travel makes sense other than essential meanings and essential reasons. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a valid intervention knowing that we balance the risks of people not getting to vacation or do their leisure activities.
All right. Dr. Chagla, thank you.
No problem.
And so here in BC, there is some frustration over the COVID risk from people visiting from other parts of Canada. So the province has been musing about an extraordinary step, keeping them out. Tanya Fletcher takes a look.
Crowds like this are what you'd expect to see during the winter in Whistler. But where the crowds are coming from is a point of growing frustration for locals.
I asked them directly, are you guys visiting? And yeah, for 10 days. And then he answered me that in Quebec, there's more cases than BC. So we are better here.
Within BC itself, people are asked not to travel outside their region, meaning even people from Vancouver aren't supposed to go to Whistler. But that hasn't stopped out-of-towners from showing up and, according to one doctor, filling up the local medical clinic.
The majority were from the lower mainland. And then surprising and worrying was a lot of people from out of province, mainly Ontario and Quebec.
The evidence is in the parking lots, license plates giving away the identities of travelers from other provinces. It stirred up louder calls for keeping other Canadians out, and the Premier is now looking at ways to do so.
And so legal advice is what we've sought, and we'll take a look at it over the next couple of days.
Seeking legal opinion is new, but his attempts to address the problem are not. John Horgan put this at the feet of the federal government in the fall, but formally restricting interprovincial travel was essentially dismissed over concerns that it violates the charter rights of Canadians. However, the East Coast managed to isolate itself early in the pandemic. The Atlantic provinces individually and at one point collectively sealed themselves off, only allowing travelers who agreed to quarantine for 14 days first. But health experts say replicating and enforcing that on the West Coast would be much more challenging given the province's larger population and the sheer size of its border with Alberta. It's still not clear what specific legal avenues BC is exploring, but whatever is decided, the Premier plans to make an announcement next week and finally put the issue to rest. Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Vancouver.
After a jump in case numbers yesterday, Ontario saw less than 3,000 new cases today, 2,998 new infections reported. This marks the third time this week the province has been below 3,000. The trend has helped lower Ontario's 7-day average to just over 3,200 daily cases. But school is still out in Ontario's hot zones. The lockdown measures mean virtually no in-person learning until next month. There is, however, an exception. And as those classes resume, so do fears about keeping everyone safe. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson explains the tough position some parents and educators are in.
Adrienne Ferreira-Legault has 2 special needs kids in 2 different schools. 4-year-old Sophia, who is autistic, is not in school now. The special class she attends in a public school closed for in-person learning. Her 5-year-old brother Samuel has Down syndrome and autism. His school, only designated for kids with disabilities, is still open.
He has staff in his school that it's prepared to support him for feeding, for changing a diaper, for doing the activities that they do at school.
As close to 2 million kids in southern Ontario remain out of class, school boards have been allowed to keep some programs open for kids with disabilities because these kids need a higher level of care and instruction. But that's unsafe during the pandemic, according to this teacher union representative.
For education workers and teachers both, it's not at all possible to maintain physical distancing when they're serving special needs students. They need feeding, they need toileting.
But Sophia's and Samuel's mom is torn because online learning is almost impossible for kids like hers.
They don't follow what's going on. They don't know that there's another person on the other side of the screen talking to them. It's just a disaster.
This developmental pediatrician says that if taken out of school for months, these kids also can't just catch up on things like speech therapy.
The research shows us that these therapies are most effective early on and in these very specific windows of development when the brain is solidifying its architecture, and being able to deliver these therapies in their classroom setting is so vital.
A spokesperson for Ontario's Minister of Education said deciding to keep some special education schools open was a result of consultation with experts and families who said they felt left out during the shutdown back in the spring. The province also announced $7.5 million to help train teachers to support students on the autism spectrum. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Saskatchewan is reporting its highest number of hospitalizations to date. The province currently has 210 people in hospital with COVID-19, 35 of them in intensive care. 386 new cases were reported today. New Brunswick's numbers also continue to rise. 25 new cases reported today. That pushes the province's active case count over 250, and that is a new record. New Brunswick remains at its second highest pandemic alert level. And the Northwest Territories reporting its first COVID-19 case with no known source. An individual in Yellowknife with no travel history tested positive for the virus. Officials are not yet calling it a case of community spread, but a rapid response team is being deployed to investigate the infection. COVID-19 vaccines have received a lot of attention, but treatments for those already fighting the virus are also crucial. So when a Canadian biotech firm developed a new drug, Ottawa jumped in early, spending millions to buy up new doses, but they've sat on shelves for months unused. Here's Vicodopia on why.
80-year-old John Tavel has COVID-19. His symptoms are moderate, but his daughter Leslie is worried at his age that could change. There is one possible treatment for milder cases, but he can't get it.
Eli Lilly has a drug and has been approved by Health Canada as of November 24th and shipped to government agencies, but it wasn't readily available. Nobody knew where it was, and nobody knew how to find this drug.
It's called bamlanivimab, a synthetic antibody. It's designed to immediately attack the virus in patients with early symptoms to prevent them from getting worse. The treatment showed early signs of promise, but so far the evidence it works is inconclusive, and it's challenging to administer an IV treatment at the hospital.
It's hard to staff these types of activities when you're also struggling to have enough personnel to treat the hundreds of people who are hospitalized.
So across the country, thousands of doses are going unused. Provinces like BC are telling hospitals the drug is not recommended.
If there is data that comes out that says it's effective, then we have those medications ready to use. In the absence of the data, we shouldn't really be using it.
The federal government had a lot riding on bamlanivimab, $175 million research dollars to a Vancouver company to develop it, then another $41 million to buy up to 26,000 doses from manufacturer Eli Lilly.
I don't blame the government for doing that. You think back to, several months ago, we were scrambling for anything that might have promise, and it was reasonable to assume that antibody therapy might have an important role. You have to take some risks, and not all of them are going to pay off.
Health Canada says it's up to provinces to decide how to use bamlanivimab, even if that means not using it at all. It's the price of fast science during a pandemic. Vicodopia, CBC News, Toronto.
An Ontario woman who'd gone snowshoeing in Vancouver's North Shore Mountains has been found dead.
She sent a photo to her boyfriend of her on the top of St. Mark's. So it was on her way down that she'd lost her way.
The woman, identified as Nikki Donnelly on social media, was last heard from yesterday. After summiting the peak, she called her boyfriend, saying she was lost, and then the call dropped. Search efforts were hampered by snow and windy, rainy weather. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden says he feels safe days before his inauguration, but officials are securing D.C. landmarks and state capitals, and Facebook is blocking posts about events near political buildings. As Susan Ormiston tells us, more ugly details have emerged about last week's rampage on Capitol Hill.
He's called the QAnon shaman, and prosecutors in his case first alleged he and others were bent on hurting lawmakers. An alleged note left in the Senate at Mike Pence's desk says it's only a matter of time. Justice is coming. But the Justice Department now says there isn't hard evidence yet of any planned capture and kill plot. The House Speaker wants a sweeping inquiry.
There is strong interest in the Congress in a 9/11 type commission.
Pelosi described her disgust at hate-filled rioters, like this man shown with his odious T-shirt.
To see this punk with that shirt on and his anti-Semitism that he has bragged about, to be part of a white supremacist raid on this Capitol.
As the horror of January 6th continues to shake the Capitol, D.C. Metro Police shared chilling detail.
I remember guys were stripping me of my gear, and then some guys started getting a hold of my gun, and they were screaming out, kill him with his own gun.
Officer Daniel Hodges was caught in a door in a vice-like squeeze.
There was a guy ripping my mask off, and he was able to rip away my baton and beat me with it, and he was practically foaming at the mouth. So just these people were true believers in the worst way.
Blocks of Washington's core are now closed to vehicles, making working in the downtown area a vexing challenge. Deliveries are an exercise in logistics, navigating barricades with long walks between entry points. More National Guardsmen are arriving this weekend. Domestic terror, including IEDs, considered the #1 threat to the inauguration. This is only a first perimeter, with multiple more security rings before the White House at the far end of this row.
And Susan, what about the current president in the White House? What do we know about his plans?
Yeah, well, for the moment, the plan is that Donald Trump will leave the White House on Wednesday, according to a senior official, and he's asking about a military-style farewell, so a red carpet, an honor guard, a 21-gun salute on the morning of Joe Biden's big day. Meanwhile, his vice president finally called Kamala Harris to congratulate her 2 months after the election, and just in time for the inauguration, which Mike Pence is planning to attend, Ian.
Senior correspondent Susan Ormiston in Washington. The U.S. president-elect renewed a bold pledge today. Joe Biden vowed 100 million Americans will be vaccinated in his first 100 days in office. Tonight, at least 128,000 are in hospital, with the number of deaths today at least 3,700. The situation so dire in California, it's sending refrigerated trailers to serve as temporary morgues. As Stephen D'Souza shows us, they can't arrive quickly enough.
Inside, the Cypress Lawn Funeral Home is full of COVID-19 victims, while outside, 2 refrigeration containers await more.
Right now we're seeing 4, 5, 6 times the number of families that have COVID-19 on their death certificate.
California is still among the hardest hit states. Inside this emergency room in rural Apple Valley, ICU beds are full. COVID-19 patients line the hallways.
I've been doing this now 13 years. I've probably seen more deaths in this last month than I have almost in my whole career.
The stress on frontline workers is balanced for some by a newfound sense of purpose, as EMTs in California help administer the vaccine.
In the last 2 days, I've just seen a complete shift in our morale, where it was down and they were exhausted, but being able to help people and get this vaccine has really turned their spirits around.
Incoming President Joe Biden says more help is on the way. In his first major move, he proposed a $1.9 trillion aid package, with billions to increase vaccine supply.
Mobilize more medical teams to get the shots in people's arms. Increase supply and get it out the door as soon as possible.
But it's an uphill battle. This week, the Trump administration promised to release all second doses it said it was stockpiling. Turns out, the supply was already exhausted.
I have been frustrated at times beyond belief, but this one is so far beyond the pale to be almost unimaginable. And I'm going to call it. Where did they go? Who's going to be prosecuted for this?
With New York City among those warning their vaccine supply will run out next week, the president-elect had a sober warning.
The honest truth is this: things will get worse before they get better.
So while sites like Dodger Stadium and the parking lot at Disneyland turned into mass vaccination sites, what Biden called a dark winter is far from over. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
With rising food prices and economic uncertainty, finding a deal could be crucial. There's an app for that.
People have more time to look for deals, and so they go online or they use these apps in order to save a bit of money.
Up next, a twofer, an app that saves cash and food waste. And the COVID danger lurking in a local arena.
People breathing deeply because they're working hard too, and you can end up potentially with some quite high exposures.
And
it's roll me bully boys, we're in a hurry boys.
The surprising soundtrack of 2021, the sea shanty. Why the trend has extra meaning. We're back in 2.
Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum.
After weeks of speculation and a visit to Government House, today it became official. Voters in Newfoundland and Labrador are heading to the polls.
She accepted my request to dissolve the House of Assembly for an election across Newfoundland and Labrador on Saturday, February 13th.
Under provincial rules, Fury, sworn as Premier in August, had to call an election within 12 months, but it's been more than 20 years since the province held one in the winter. 3 provinces have already gone to the polls during the pandemic. Many Canadians have elected to use mobile apps to get their groceries during the pandemic. Some offer steep discounts on food nearing expiry. But as Philippe de Montigny shows us, what started as a way to divert food waste from landfills turned into a necessity for many.
Astrid Moulin picks up a curry dish she ordered on feedback. The app allows users to buy meals from Toronto restaurants at a discount. Excess food that would otherwise be destined for the trash can.
Like people like me, we really went to this app to avoid wasting and to help the community. But now I think with everything happening, people are like really focused on saving money.
Other apps like Flash Food help grocery stores sell items nearing their best before date for a fraction of the price. The company's CEO says demand for his online marketplace has soared during the pandemic.
It's a difficult time for a lot of people, right? There's been some people that have been laid off. Some people are looking at their mortgage or any of the bills that they have, and they're looking at where can they cut costs. And usually food is the first area that you try to shave costs on.
Over the past year, Flash Food surpassed 3 million downloads in Canada. Competitor Food Hero, available in Quebec and New Brunswick, says its use jumped too, and food sales through the app climbed by 36%.
With the pandemic and the financial crisis that it created, a lot more people obviously and unfortunately are looking for ways to save on food.
Contributing to the app's increased use in 2020, rising food prices, and the large number of people working from home.
People have more time to look for deals, and so they go online or they use these apps in order to save a bit of money. And we are expecting 2021 to be another challenging year for consumers as well.
Industry analysts say the average family could be paying nearly $700 more on groceries this year, adding even more pressure on the 1 in 7 Canadians already facing food insecurity. Philippe de Montigny, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, why indoor hockey has been linked to super spreader events.
Ice, because it's cold, is going to lead to the air near it being more dense and less likely to rise up.
Why COVID loves your local indoor hockey rink. Plus,
way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
The latest TikTok trend takes you on the high seas. We're back in a moment.
Point blank shot on Demko.
The quest for the Stanley Cup is on again. That is Vancouver and Edmonton last night in their second of back-to-back games to start the new season. They're joining the 5 other Canadian teams in a single division. All hockey fans can enjoy games on TV. Playing is not an option in many parts of this country. Some health officials say playing recreational hockey isn't COVID safe, at least not indoors. Terrence McKenna looks at the downside of your local arena.
Across the country, there are an estimated 621,000 Canadians involved in organized hockey leagues. In this arena in St. John's, Newfoundland last Sunday is one of the few leagues still operating in recent weeks. That's because it turns out that in the COVID era, indoor hockey is one of the more dangerous activities you could take part in. There have been dozens of COVID outbreaks in arenas around North America. Hockey can be played in Newfoundland because the province is down to a handful of active cases.
Hockey's pretty big here, and just being a part of that and the whole hockey culture, you know, it's a huge part of who I am.
Duan Street was a longtime figure skater who converted to hockey 5 years ago and is now devoted to the game, even in the time of COVID.
Latest update, we're down to 5 active cases, and you know, I mean, we see 3,000, 2,000 cases a day in other places, and that just kind of drives home how fortunate we are to actually be able to come out to the rink on Sunday night and play a game of hockey.
One of the early warnings about the COVID danger of indoor hockey came with an amateur game in Tampa Bay, Florida last June. The game became the subject of a morbidity and mortality weekly report by the Atlanta Centers for Disease Control because one asymptomatic infected player passed on the disease to 13 of the 22 other players on the ice with him, including 5 who showed no symptoms, and to 1 rink attendant. The June Tampa Bay outbreak was not an isolated incident. In the following months, hockey's super spreader events infected 23 players in Georgia, 17 in North Carolina, 13 in New Jersey, 17 in Connecticut, 108 in Massachusetts, and 158 in New Hampshire. 7 northeastern states banned hockey for November and December. In Ottawa, a single hockey practice in December led to 89 infections. In Saskatchewan, there were 20 outbreaks linked to arenas. And there was a famous case where a BC team traveled to Alberta and brought the infection back to their families and co-workers.
I can tell you that it was several dozen families that were affected, several businesses that were affected, long-term care that was affected.
Way back in March,
the widespread hockey COVID outbreaks are no surprise to Jeffrey Siegel, a professor of civil engineering at the University of Toronto and an expert on air quality and ventilation.
The big problem with arenas is that there's a bunch of additional risk factors. So number one is that, people are working hard, both inhaling and exhaling, producing more respiratory droplets, being exposed to more respiratory droplets. Number two is you're playing on ice. Ice, because it's cold, is going to lead to the air near it being more dense and less likely to rise up. So what you end up with is a layer of pollutants being trapped near the ice surface. And that layer of pollutants, includes the things being breathed out by people on the ice, like those respiratory droplets.
There have been numerous studies of ventilation and airflow in hockey arenas in the last 20 years. And that is mostly because of the Zamboni machines that clean and resurface the ice between games and between periods. Older Zambonis like this have internal combustion engines that emit exhaust, polluting the arena air breathed in by players and fans. The studies found that the polluted air tended to remain quite close to the ice surface, even when there was ventilation designed to blow contaminated air out of the building. The air near the ice is trapped by the plexiglass barriers above the hockey boards.
This is an air quality monitor.
Air quality monitors measuring parts per million of carbon dioxide and other pollutants are used to check ventilation at ice level.
We can apply some of that to what we're now worried about with COVID. And that's where we have a potentially infected player on the ice, and the pollutants, potentially get trapped near the ice surface. And even more respiratory aerosols being produced because people are working hard because they're doing this physical activity. And then you combine that with these higher concentrations near the surfaces, people breathing deeply because they're working hard too, and you can end up potentially with some quite high exposures.
When it comes to COVID transmission in hockey, there are additional risk factors beyond the game being played on the ice. Between shifts, the players are catching their breath on the benches, often coughing and spitting. And there is also close proximity in dressing rooms.
The hockey we're playing is not body contact, but you're still going in the corners, you are still in contact. So we do think about stuff like that, and of course when you're on the bench, definitely. One of the rules at one of my skates is nobody's allowed to spit, and hockey players, we're all guilty of it. So just stuff like that, it's a little bit, some stuff you just have to keep in the back of your mind.
In Barrie, Ontario, Hugh Campbell has been a minor hockey league director for 40 years. In November, he had to deal with a COVID outbreak in a team of 15 and 16-year-old players after one player became ill the day after a practice.
So we immediately isolated the whole team for a 14-day period. During that 14-day period, 8 of the boys actually ended up testing positive. So it was, in hindsight, a good thing that we got on it right away, got them all in isolation, and managed to curtail it just to the one team and one group.
Given the dangers of contracting COVID while playing hockey, you might wonder why there have not been more outbreaks connected to the National Hockey League. First off, there are the arenas themselves.
NHL arenas are a very different beast than a recreational arena. The amount of money that goes into them is very different, obviously. So I'm sure they have better ventilation. I'm sure they have a lot more protection for the players.
Away we go, Sidney Crosby and Sean Couturier.
The NHL also had strict bubble regulations to protect players. designed in part by infectious disease expert Dr. Isaac Bogosh.
What you saw at the end of the day were, I think, very tight protocols that took a lot of buy-in and were adhered to by everyone, not just the players, but all the other personnel in the bubble. And coupling that with a bubble approach and rigorous testing, plus adherence to these tight protocols, and that made for a very successful remainder of the NHL season and playoffs. And they did so without having any positive cases.
We do understand the risk, and we're fortunate that our team is a close circle of friends. So that's pretty much been our 20-person bubble now since everything has opened up.
So I'm sure people are thinking, okay, so what do we do? How do we get back to playing hockey? People love to play hockey.
I think it's going to come down a lot to the individual and the choices. So if someone lives in a household with a vulnerable family member, maybe someone who's older or someone who's got, a respiratory condition that makes them more sensitive to COVID, that might be a good time to say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't play hockey this season.
One solution to preserve community hockey this year would be moving as many games as possible to outdoor ice.
I think you can get out on the outdoor ice and have a safe experience as long as it's done well. So rather than saying no, 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 I think we should say, well, is there a way that we can get around this and do this safely? And if careful and if done right, I think you probably can do it on the outdoor ice in a much safer environment.
Of course, the lower the rate of community infection, the less chance of encountering an infected hockey player on the ice. Minor hockey is still being played in Newfoundland, Labrador, and PEI, but for the moment is pretty much banned in the rest of the country. Terrence McKenna, CBC News, Toronto.
Next, you may be working from home, but how long will that last?
We're all going to continue to work at home forever. No, we're not.
The debate around the office of the future. Plus,
I think 13, 14 bears, just going crazy.
we'll take you to a new polar attraction in Winnipeg. Welcome back. After a trip to Hawaii over the holidays, the head of UBC's School of Public Health has resigned. Dr. Peter Berman apologized for taking the vacation earlier this month, calling it something he regrets. More than a dozen faculty members signed a letter to the school's president criticizing Berman's trip.
I did what I did to offer a perspective that I hear from a lot of constituents.
Toronto MPP Roman Bobber is sticking to his beliefs after being booted from Doug Ford's Progressive Conservative Caucus for calling for Ontario's COVID-19 lockdown to end. In an open letter, Bobber made claims about the virus and the effect of the lockdown. The province's Ministry of Health put out a fact sheet debunking much of it. When it comes to migration within provinces, tens of thousands of people left Montreal and Toronto last year, sometimes literally for greener pastures. The pandemic may have provided the push, but Peter Armstrong asks, will the work from home revolution last?
I'm pretty enthusiastic to get back to the office whenever it's possible to do so.
Pat Sawalski is a software developer, but working from home, he's also a teacher, a project manager, and a parent. He misses impromptu hangouts with coworkers, face-to-face meetings. He even misses his commute.
I'm in a car by myself. I have nowhere to go, and it just focuses, and I can either listen to the radio or focus on my thoughts.
His return to work remains mired in uncertainty. It's not just employees trying to figure out how much things change. Managers and team leaders are too.
We know what many of the issues are because we're living them.
Margaret Zotz runs a team at the City of Toronto. Before the pandemic, she was trying to figure out how to allow more people to work from home more often.
This just pushed us that much more quickly. And so we're not going to go back to the way we were, that's for sure.
But what will work look like? Can you move to the countryside and work remotely so long as you have a decent internet connection? Some companies say, not really.
Your salary will be adjusted if you change location.
Facebook issued that warning during a town hall with employees last May. But after a survey of its workforce, Facebook says the hard part won't be finding a way to manage all the people who want to work remotely.
It's going to be that there are more people who want to get back into the office than we can support.
Economists agree. Sure, some people will retain some of their remote work patterns, those who can be just as productive from home. But that doesn't work for every kind of job.
I keep hearing all these people, we're all going to continue to work at home forever. No, we're not, because this is not effective.
Given the state of COVID cases and economic restrictions, all this may feel like a debate about some distant future. But even the more pessimistic forecasts show many offices beginning to open up again before next winter. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, seems we can't get enough of the sea shanty.
Soon may the weatherman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
And neither can TikTok users. We'll tell you about the Canadian connection next.
Well, the captain likes whiskey, the matey likes rum.
Just one example of the latest online craze. It's a case of a relatively new medium, TikTok, delivering the message of a traditional one, the sea shanty. And it had our Eli Glasner humming along and got him looking at what's behind the fad and the fascination.
This was a ship that put to sea.
This is how it started.
Was a belly of tea. The winds blew up.
A Scottish postman recording Wellerman, a sailing song known as a sea shanty, songs that stretch back hundreds of years. And this is how it's going.
Soon may the weatherman come.
And going.
We'll take our leave and go.
And going.
Soon may the weatherman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum.
Let true love not be torn apart.
This great big sea musician always called himself the shanty man.
And my kids who were in their teens, 15 and 13, they were kind of like, oh, that's so lame, Dad, you know. And all of a sudden, 2 days ago, I became the cool dad.
Far from our native soil.
He says the songs, which were sometimes a form of protest, resurface in times of trouble.
And much like the sailors of old that were in the sea, they were at the mercy of the sea and had very little control of their fate. And maybe that's the longing you hear.
That sense of longing is now cross-cultural. When this Houston nursing student saw what his brother was singing, he had to start recording.
I was gonna roast him. I'm like, bro, this boy always playing some weird music.
But soon he was singing.
To bring us sugar and tea and rum.
Their TikTok has now been seen over 5 million times. Why?
It reminds you of the time before COVID, before when we were all together, just, singing whatever song you were singing, just together.
CBC host and musician Tom Power says the songs were actually created for a purpose.
They were meant so that you could time hauling up a trap. You could time pulling a rope.
Now it's serving a new one.
Instead of lifting a rope all at the same time off a barge, we're trying to get through this pandemic together.
And it's roll me bully boys.
Lifted by a sea of songs centuries old. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on The National, a new take on snowmen, and they're not people at all.
I've been at it about a week, so I think 13, 14 bears.
Quarantine creativity reaches a whole new level. Next, in our moment. There have been many ways people have passed the time during the pandemic, but one Winnipeg woman is using a little creativity and a lot of snow to make these guys. She's created a bit of a winter wonderland on her own front yard, and tonight it is our moment.
I started with a snowman. The snow wasn't sticky, so I added some water, and it turned out really well. So I was looking for more things to build, and I went online and I saw this picture, 2 snow bears that are in the front yard. So I tried it, and it worked. It went from there. I just kept on going. I've been at it about a week, so I think 13, 14 bears. So they all have kind of their own characters. You know, there's some aggressive ones, there's friendly ones, there's cuddly ones, there's mama bears, baby bears, and it's just a mixture of everything. After the first few, I had a lot of people stopping by. I had honks, I had thumbs up, people waving, taking pictures, and you know what? It puts a smile on somebody else's face, so I just kept on going. Had I known it was going to be this awesome, I would have done it a long time ago.
Those are really cute snow bears. which is a phrase I never thought I would say as a host of the National, but they kind of are. And I guess the bigger point is what she said right at the end. If she knew they were going to be so awesome, she would have done this a long time ago. So if you're doing something interesting in your yard, especially in provinces where you're not supposed to go very far unless you absolutely have to, send them in. You could be our moment. And as I told you last week, Carrie in our control room is desperate to be a moment. This is your chance to be the moment before her. That is the National for January 15th. I hope you can join me on Sunday for Cross Country Checkup on CBC Radio 1, starting at 4 Eastern. And later on the National, where I'll have a story on the return of the Boeing MAX 8. See you Sunday.